Good morning, world. When it comes to mental health and especially when it comes to mental illness, a lot of times we find that people don't quite know what to do or what to say when they find out that someone is experiencing a mental illness. And people are very much prone to, in their attempt to say the right things, say the absolute wrong things. That's why today we're talking about 5 things you should definitely not say to a person suffering from a mental illness, or even the family members of the loved ones of that person. First is to pray about it or give it to God. This one, a lot of times when you have that strong faith, it's understandable that you want to pray about things, you want to give things over to God. But just as you would with any physical ailment, seek treatment. You're not going to just sit at home and give your cancer to God. You're not going to just sit at home and give your diabetes to God. So why is it that you expect that someone would give their mental illness over to God and not seek out the treatment that God has made available to that person? So understand that mental health, mental illness is health. It's illness just like any other one. And telling someone to give it over to God can sometimes make them feel like maybe they didn't do something. Maybe it's a deficit on their part that's causing it. Or maybe they were not faithful enough, especially if it's a person of faith that you're saying this to. You can cause more damage than help. 2, asking the person how they got it or what they did or what caused it. When you put that on the person, or how did you get it, it's almost like you're telling the person, wait, you must have done something because everybody else doesn't have it and you got it. So how did you get it? What did you do? Don't do that. You can't really put the responsibility for an illness on any one person. Again, just as you would not do this for a heart condition, a brain tumor, you would definitely not to ask someone, oh, how'd you get a brain tumor, or how'd you get a bad heart? So what makes you think that it's okay to ask a person how they got a mental illness, or make them feel that there is something that they did that led to them having that condition? 3, people do this a lot. Do not try to relate their actual illness to something unrelated. Sometimes a person could be experiencing depression and someone will say, well, when I'm sad, I turn on music. Really, genius. They didn't think of that. It's not the same. Mental illness or any mental health condition that a person would seek out help for is not like the everyday things that we can just get up and take care of by doing 1 or 2 things. Mental health conditions are serious actual health issues. Don't downplay, don't minimalize an actual problem, an actual condition that a person is working on. Because when you do that and you tell someone is experiencing a major depression, they're feeling bad enough that they're going through this. And you come in and tell them, when I was sad, I got up and ran 5 miles and I felt great. Of course, you weren't dealing with depression. So don't minimalize what the person is going to by attempting to mirror it or relate it to something completely unrelated. Seriously. 4, please, 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 don't try to tell someone to get over it or that it's just in their head. Because really, if it was something that they could just get over, they would have done it already. If it was just in their head, they would have found a way to kick it out. Because mental illness is not easy to deal with. It's not easy on the person, nor is it easy on the family. It's an actual illness, just like cancer or a heart condition is not in a person's head. Neither is mental illness in the person's head. So please don't do that. That's just an awful thing to say to a person. And finally, do not bash, downplay, or criticize the person for seeking treatment. No, there are things that actually, you wouldn't do that with any physical ailment. So please don't do that to a mental health condition. If you know the person is seeking treatment and you may not like what treatment they're seeking, but it's not your place, especially when you're not bringing any solution. It's not your place to downgrade, criticize, or do anything, say anything about the treatment that the person is seeking. It's the only thing you can say or should be able to say is good for you for seeking treatment. If your comment is something other than that, you should probably think of not saying it. All right, so let's do a quick recap. 1, don't tell people to pray about it or give it to God, because you know what? You wouldn't do that for any other ailment. It's an illness and it's their right to seek treatment for it. 2, don't ask the person how they got it or what caused it, because sometimes when you ask the person how did you get it, you're assuming that it was something that they did that made it, that brought on the illness, which it's not. 3, don't try to relate it to something unrelated. Don't try to, let me see, how do you, don't try to compare it to something unrelated, because that just trivializes what the person is going through. 4, don't tell the person to get over it or that it's just in their mind, because if it was, they would have taken care of it already. Illness is illness, mental or physical. And finally, do not bash, don't downplay, and don't criticize their treatment, especially when you have nothing better to offer them. All right? And yeah, that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have a great day.